Hey guys, today I'm doing a Dark Souls challenge run, and when I hear enemies like
Everlasting dragons,
you know my face be like, So this is a mini-series I have on Twitch. Check it out at BrandOK. That O is a 0. So rules for the challenge are, beat all the bosses in the game, obviously. No circle or B button, meaning no rolling, sprinting, or raviolis. Also adding in no lock-on just cause. And finally, no range of any swords, including sorcery, faith, and pyro. Essentially, this is a real build. Because I mean, who is really going to be doing this against dragons and demons? It's just not practical. Now, a lot of this I'm just going to speed through, because who wants to see me go through all these areas without being able to sprint? I mean, come on. So I'll be skipping around a lot, just hitting the most important parts, like boss fights or really difficult areas. Also, my initial recording of this might seem like a low bit rate, so the video might seem a little jaggy, but only the first part anyway. So I get the spider shield, which is like the best shield in the game. It's insane. I mean, this thing can block just about anything you want. And you can see I have the battle axe, so this will be a strength build. Really more of a realistic build, like imagine yourself against a real demon. Like this is how I imagine it might actually go for us normal non-magical folk. So dropping in on the first boss, I'm gonna speed this up a tad as there's not much to see. As you can see, the shield really just absorbs all that damage with ridiculous knockback. But honestly, not a big threat. I just go around and hack away at the legs, and before long, the demon is toast. So getting to the Firelink Shrine is where this run truly begins, and I make my way to the Burg, but not without quickly realizing the difficulties I will have in this no rolling and no lock-on run. Eventually I make it to the Burg where, of course, I meet my first timely demise, and it wasn't to these boneheads. It was just to a good old Dark Souls trap where I got demolished. It happened. I don't know what happened. I'm a scrub. No one saw that. Reinvigorated, I proceeded through the Burg. I got my first glance at a dragon, which will turn out to be a pain, but we'll get to that later. The Burg was a good starting place to practice movement. Typically, I'm used to rolling and sprinting while using the camera with the claw method, which is pretty valuable in high-level play. And eventually, I got into the groove of things, and I'm convinced I have a good control over my character's limitations. But then, Dark Souls does this thing, where it isn't afraid to put you back in your place very quickly. I just smacked through this. Oh my gosh. I get it. I get to the bonfire and level up what I think will be the most important in this type of run. So I'll be speeding this up to keep it fresh, and show each route through an area at least once if I think there is something important to show. This is mostly just clearing out the undead rabble. It isn't until I take the stairs up here where I get wrecked. Sure. Oh my... A couple times. But I end up learning and clearing them out. Now we get to the second boss, and for a good while, he just knocks me around. Oh yeah. And just as soon as I think I got the hold of it, Dark Souls does that thing again. So here is the refight, and I'll leave all the victories as they stand unedited. This boss was a lot of blocking. Without invincibility frames from rolling, you really have to let the demon take the lead and look for openings where they appear. Again, it is a tiny bit sped up, but that is to compensate for the low bitrate my recorder captured, but otherwise the fight's legit, as is the whole run. This is also a good time to talk about the fact that I'm not simply not using the circular B button, I disabled it, along with L and R3, so there's no chance of fudging up the challenge. This had a lot of unintended consequences like sliding down ladders, not being able to properly jump, and being unable to cancel out of menus and whatnot. Thankfully, the start button can exit you out of any menu in the game, and I also found some neat tricks to access every area of the game as well. Again, this run does beat every boss in the game with these restrictions in place, and no glitches. As you can see, the shield is used extensively, and we will continue to do so for the rest of the run.
Gosh. Oh, you are not going to knock me off this bridge. Oh. That's so close.
These last second blocks took some time to get the hang of too. Without targeting, you have to face your character towards every damage source manually. So that makes this run a little more interesting in my opinion.
Shield power. No. Sure. Oh my god. Eat it. Stagger before. That's one. But technically two down. Like 20 something plus to go.
Next time on Brando K's Dark Souls Challenge.